class. My name is Brian Mvula, and I want to take you through the introduction of this session. And I think all of you are familiar with the links that I sent you and the study questions. Before we begin our discussion sessions, I hope that every one of you have gone through the link and is able at least to get a few points. So my role is just to introduce you to this session, and it's you now to know that at the end of this session you should be able to explain the causes of fire and the elements that make up fire. You should also be able to explain the classes and the methods of extinguishing fire. Then you should also be able to explain different fire hazards. You should also be able to explain different fire hazards that are found within your premises. So I think I will call upon each member. I think the group will form a group. Then each member will come and present what you read. I think question group 1 will respond to study guide question 1. Group 2 will respond to study guide question 2. And group 3 will respond to study guide question 3. So I think we just form a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, group 1, a representative should come and discuss what you learned when you open the link, and I'll be awarding you marks. I will assess you based on this introduction. It will make 20% of what you are going to present. So if there's any question, we'll ask later or we'll give feedback later. So group 1 member to come and present.
Good afternoon, members.
Afternoon.
In my group, we were asked to go and read more about causes of fire, and these are our outcomes, our findings. Causes of fire include 1, we have faulty electrical wiring. 2, we have liquid petroleum gas. 3, we have cigarette bulb. 4, untended flame. 5, matchstick lighter. Then 6, we have direct flame contact. We have neglected electrical appliances and lightning. So in the classes of fire, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different classes of fire. In class A, we have ordinary combustible such as wood, paper, etc. So here basically it tells us class A we have the flames fire which produces ash. Class B, we have fire inflammable liquids such as gasoline, petroleum, kerosene, etc. So these usually we find them in the filling station. This fire inflammable liquids. Then class C, we have energized electrical equipment. For example, those sockets, if they are being left, they can cause fire. Class D, combustible metals. Then class K, we have cooking oil and greases. Those which, for example, you are cooking, then you have left that cooking oil to be more hotter. Then you add water. What will it bring out? The fire. Yeah, thank you.
Any question?
Yeah, any question or any elaboration? Yes?
I've not understood unattended flames.
Oh, unattended flame. A good example is when you are asleep then you have left your candle on. So when you are asleep, you don't know whether you will touch it, then it falls, or you touch it, after it falls, it will cause fire and you will be burnt beyond recognition. Thank you.
Okay.
Group we are going to talk about the guide B question from there. Okay, here we are tackling about the elements of fire and the methods of extinguishing fire. Okay, under the elements we have oxygen, fuel, and the heat. So for the fire to occur, we must have these three elements for the fire to load to occur. Under the fire extinguishing, we have some methods here. One is cooling. Cooling is just the removal of heat from the scene of fire, like the use of water to put off fire. And then we have the starvation. Starvation is one of the methods whereby removal of the fuel from the scene, like for example, a gas. Okay, we just put off the gas so that we can remove the fire from the scene. And then we have the smothering. It's a technique where oxygen is moved from the equation, like the use of blankets in a frying pan place to reduce oxygen level. Okay, the other method is breaking linkage. Okay, and the breaking linkage, it's whereby breaking chain of reaction, e.g. use of soil to put off fire. So the fuel breaks the strips or block of the vegetation that had been altered to low control of fire. So any feedback from the members?
Like how do you have explained something about smothering, and I would like you to explain to the group furthermore about smothering. What do you mean by smothering? A technique where oxygen is removed from the equation. So how do you remove oxygen? Like in your community, how do you apply the cooling, starvation, smothering, and breaking linkage? At home, how do you put off the fire? That is the concept.
For example, we are using the firewood in my community.
Yes.
So in that thing, you may put off those sticks that maybe they are spitting fire. You may put off from the cooking place. So that thing will be removing that fire from the scene. That is.
Okay. Yeah. Which other method can you apply at home when you have fire? How to make it? Which other method can you apply?
Okay, you can use also apart of this one, you can use the smothering one.
Yes. So how do you do? Like maybe the house has burned. How do you do?
Okay, in smothering. Okay, as I have said earlier, smothering is just a technique where oxygen is removed from the equation. For example, maybe it's a house is on fire. Maybe we may, like objects like a mattress may be removed from the house because we know that these objects are always flammable. So just to reduce the level of the fire, we may remove the mattresses. Maybe if it's the thatch, maybe we can remove it, or maybe just putting water over it so that we drive away the fire from that scene.
Okay, that's good. Any question from the group? Any question? Have you understood what group B has done? Any question from any group? Okay, if there's no question, you can sit down and we'll give the final conclusion later. Hi.
Good evening. I'm Salim Sai. I'm responding to study question 3 from group 3. So this, as connected to what my colleagues have said, this is what you got. Fire hazards. We got arson, the person who can, like your enemy, who can come and burn your house. Then we have cooking. This is whereby you cook and you forget the things, as in us in our community we use firewood. So maybe you forget the sticks which are still on fire, they can cause fire. Then we have smoking materials such as cigarettes. Someone can dispose or dispose the cigarette material. Then we have open flames like candles. As it was said earlier, you can forget your candle as you're sleeping and then it catches the blanket unknowingly. Then you have electrical equipment such as wiring. The open wirings, they can cause short. Then the residential furnishings, which are like plastic tables, we have plastic chairs, they can. Then we have accumulation of combustible materials. These are like, let's say, petrol, paraffin, then improper handling and storage of combustible flammable. As you don't store your paraffin correctly, they can catch fire and can harm you. So at that point, to where we've reached, is there any question, any conclusion?
I just wanted to make it clear and ask you a very simple question. We have talked of residential furnishing and we have only specified and talked about plastic. What are some of the things that are compulsible? What are some of the things that can be banned, that when you have fire, when there's an outbreak of fire, they can spread fire? There are so many things in a house.
There are mattresses. Yes, like even the wooden tables, they can spread fire.
But I suppose we need to explore those areas. Any question? Anybody with a question from any group? Are you exhausted? Huh?
Yes.
Have you understood everything? Yes. What about if I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question. Help me understand what it means by smoking material. How is it a hazard? Smoking material. Yes.
Like somebody may smoke the use of cigarettes or call it tobacco and dispose it anyhow without put off that fire in it, without putting it off. So he or she may dispose it and it may catch fire. Maybe when it falls on the papers or on the glass.
Yes. Another hazard. Yes, you said you have understood. I'm also still asking another question. Another member. How is cooking a hazardous condition at home? How is cooking a hazardous condition at home? How can cooking cause fire at home? Yes, help me understand because you say that you understand this one.
In cooking, let's say we are using like gas, and then like they are cooking chips, and then when the oil in the pan has a little heat, so that pan, it is not aluminum, the fire can penetrate to the oil and then it should cause fire.
Okay, you are trying, but I'm not getting the words are not coming out clearly. So, if someone else could have explained how cooking by itself can be a hazardous condition. Anybody from the group to explain? Yes? Any volunteer? Yes?
For example, you are using gas to cook and you forget to turn it on, or you forget to turn it off. Then maybe you decide to light a matchbox it might cause an explosion, causing fire.
Okay, causing explosion. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. In conclusion, I want us to just give a general feedback of what we have been doing. And I think from the videos that I've watched, I would like you to come up very clearly in these areas. Number one, when you talk about the causes of fire, we are looking at any hazards that the moment you are vulnerable to that hazard, you are likely to get an injury. Sawa. When you have hazards around you, you should not be vulnerable. And the moment you are vulnerable to that hazard, then you are likely to get an injury, you are likely to have loss of property, then you are also more likely to get massive loss of maybe your items. So when you talk about causes of fire, it depends with how you are going to handle those fire hazards. So carelessness is among the major cause of fire. Secondly, when you talk about classes of fire, be very specific and ordinary. I think for the first group you did it well. Apart from when you talked about ordinary combustible materials such as wood and paper, this class of fire, I don't know how you try to explain about it, but I think there's a lot that you could add about paper. It is when you talk about grasses at home, talk about sofa sets, talk about furnishes around the roof and whatever. Class B, talk about class B fire. We are meaning those inflammable liquids such as gasoline and petroleum in kerosene. So I think you tried to explore, but you didn't have more examples apart of it. Then, but you can look from the video and get more examples. Sawa. You look at from the video, get more examples. Then another thing is the elements of fire. Of course, that one was a little bit explored by the other book. Elements, I think everybody is in agreement with what was presented. So oxygen, fuel and heat are the main elements of fire. With removal of any element, of course, will lead to extinguishing of fire. So if you are extinguishing fire, you are aiming at removing one element. So when you remove, like for example, oxygen, then there will be no fire. When you remove fuel, then there is no fire. And when you remove heat, there is no fire. So heat is just the rise in temperature. Then fuel is just any combustible material. Then oxygen, of course, it supports combustion. So to me, cooling, when you talk about cooling, you are just cooling the heat, the temperature. High temperature is called heat. Of course, when you move, you are more likely to reduce one element that will cause extinguishing of fire. Then when you talk about installation, when you are cooking at home and you're using a gas, then likely you have a leakage somewhere. More likely, when you want to extinguish that fire, you put off the gas. In that sense, you are putting off the fuel. When you are cooking at home and you're using wood, you're using firewood, then not leave that firewood to be long, it should be short. The moment it's long and it burns until it gets to maybe where it's attached to something else, to any hazards, then more likely you can get an outbreak of fire that may lead to a lot of loss and death. So the other part of things is explored very well. Fire hazards, these are includes so many aspects. We talk of arson. When you are cooking, it's just a hazard. But when you are vulnerable, when you are more vulnerable to the hazard, then you are likely to get harmed. So I think that's where I'm going to conclude our session. Let us meet tomorrow. And I think tomorrow I will also flip another material so that we look at it in introduction. Then later we'll go and do fire hazard assessment. I'll just introduce to you the form of the tool that we can use for fire hazard assessment. Then we'll go and learn how we're going to use to go and assess fire. Is it okay? Okay, thank you.